and we went there to talk with Wei. We
Wei
talked
died,
with Wei.
okay.
And as a direct result, I wrote There Is a War.
Hooray!
And Talents. Those two posts.
Okay.
Because I was trying to, talk through with Wei, what's the problem with, money? And that was my answer, and then I had to write it out.
Okay.
That's good.
So, I haven't been in Seattle that much, but, a large percent of it was plot relevant.
Okay, so your time in Seattle is highly plot relevant.
When was the time you spent in Seattle? Can you describe it to us? Have you been there? Yeah, what do you do in Seattle? When was the last time you spent time in Seattle? Who do you hang out with?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, actually just visited Wei Dai. That was the only event that actually
Is
happened.
he visitable by me, do you think? So Seattle is where my parents live and where I grew up and where I am more likely to spend a lot of time in simply because it's where my parents are. So I will spend more time in Seattle than most cities.
It seems low cost to email him and ask.
Okay, sure. Yeah, but my problem is that I don't coordinate well with rationalists. Of course, most rationalists aren't easy to coordinate with, but I still think there's a sense where I can coordinate some important things in graph, even if my long-term goals are not rationalist goals. Although some of them can be.
So I feel like life extension is a convergent goal for anyone who's not bonkers.
Yes,
And
I agree.
insofar as people aren't pursuing it, then most people are just in such a narcissistic lunacy that doesn't really matter.
Listen,
Hey.
Hi guys.
Hey, Kenneth, we're talking about the coordination problem. And I felt like New York, especially, is a good place to tell the coordination problem, and also having people like Vassar discuss it is actually critically important too, because Vassar has a certain kind of energy that has to record Vassar more, or video recording more, otherwise all these social moments are lost. So.
What do you mean by that, Alex?
Oh, because every time Vassar, I think every Vassar conversation is important, because Vassar does not record himself, all his important moments are lost, and he becomes irrelevant to these future people, even though everyone.
I think implicitly, there's strong coordination to forget.
There is strong
that don't complete already known patterns.
That's true. But on the other hand,
and the only interesting thing about anyone actually is that they're not completing already known patterns.
Okay.
So Vassar just does an unusual amount of that, and an unusually small amount of using our value recognition systems for completing somewhat unusual patterns.
Is it like cheating grades or something? Is it like cheating in grades or school? Or faking it?
Versus just you would fail a bunch of tests if you just tried to figure out the answer instead of trying to figure out the teacher's passing. And there's actually coordination about new information so that it doesn't cause us to deviate from the story.
It doesn't cause us to deviate from the story.
So that doesn't cause us to have an unpredictable story.
Okay. Cause us to have an unpredictable.
But that's actually the only way new stories get written. New things happen. And rather life extension, for example, would totally be a new thing. And so it would require us to go off script somehow. And that's terrifying, so everyone forgets anything that would be helpful.
Same. I forgot a lot more than that.
That's
So that was pretty
This was
I think a sufficiently charismatic individual in the room can do a lot. Who has with the skills and momentum and critical desire to provide the need to argue.
So what do you mean by what's charisma?
Charisma part of it is people want to pay attention to your recording or to you every time you're there, for example. It's a magnetic force that attracts.
No, honestly, yeah. Where did you grow up?
I think that we have a more generative model of the different things that charisma can be.
Okay, cool.
So I would tend to think of it as a person could be oriented on a conceptual schema rather than on a social field or on a set of other people. And if someone is oriented on a conceptual schema, people who are orienting around other people will experience them as charismatic. And if someone is orienting around other people who are orienting around the social field will find them charismatic.
Okay, I get that though, because my neighborhood was half Vietnamese, half Mexican.
So we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were actually no Mexicans. I
Oh, anyone who is causing other people to sync with them in a manner that's anomalous with respect to your friend
and everybody was like, you know,
is interpreted as charismatic.
first generation.
And then there's these two types of friend. Is that the generator there?
Play the piano, or play the violin, or play the cello. There's 3 instruments. And like some people play winds.
What does Chad Gallagher do? Did he like do design it?
Not sure.
But you spend so much time with him and you're not sure.
Oh, right, I was talking to Ben. Ben asked a question about like charisma.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see whether I get that. So you're saying that. So one type of frame is
So
oriented.
my mom and I moved here about 8 years ago.
Perspective, one is the posture. So a person can have a perspective, or they can have a posture, or they can just be a dance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you dance around people in a posture, and you posture around people with a perspective. There's a reasonable way of saying that.
High school at Christian in the
That
Bronx.
seems right.
Yeah. And then went to college, and then now I'm.
Do you think Wade Guy is fully truthful and trustable?
I don't think it's usually very good as an idea
Okay.
to lie very often, but I would guess that he definitely conceals a lot of information.
He conceals a lot of information.
Yeah, clearly.
Okay.
He's a core crypto person.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, there's no doubt at all that he knows a lot of information that he's not revealing. And
This year.
I'm sure he wants to dissimulate in some ways, but I don't think he lies dissimulate.
Okay.
But I don't think he is cynical or depraved or lies often
Okay.
or anything.
Okay,
He
okay.
doesn't even talk often.
Okay,
He's very,
yeah, I
very
know.
shy.
Is Yosha Bach trustable?
Interesting
Well,
question.
even if it's
So Yosha Bach will.
like I'm on scholarship.
I mean, this still is like an opportunity cost, a time save, like
Opportunity costs. Yeah.
You might say Yosha Bach is a self-hating Nazi.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like very against Nazism, but it is his set of metaphysical values.
Okay.
He's like
yeah, like even if you're
he's like
full scholarship, like
basically experientially understanding like
honestly, like as a grad student, so it's just
defensive play in response to power dynamics
Okay.
as like
But it's also nice
the
to
natural
see
thing.
Okay.
And things that deviate from defensive play in response to power
Okay.
dynamics
Okay.
is like doomed.
Okay.
And like, since he's a humanist and holds that it is tragic, that this sort of metaphysical defensiveness is experienced as inevitably victorious.
Exactly.
But like,
Exactly.
his like ability to process information about why
Also, like when you're in your own
it
place,
is not
living with
surprising
someone,
for
so much shit happens.
defensive,
Like the laundry
nihilistic
breaks down, or the refrigerator
strategies
breaks down,
to
or the
lose,
Wi-Fi breaks
they
down,
usually
but
do,
all
in
three of those
fact.
things happen the same day.
He doesn't process that information very well.
Yeah.
Like, Yoshi can't really learn uncynical facts about the world.
Yeah,
He
he's
can
so
only-
cynical, that's the problem.
He can only learn cynical facts about the world. Like someone like Robin is thought of as cynical, but like isn't even able to perceive like the least cynical beginnings of Yoshi's worldview, you know?
Yeah. So I grew up like about.
But he's like nice and honest. He's nice and honest, but very, very biased towards beliefs that are
They're
like,
Nazism. Or no, believe that the whole world, that the world hates him.
yeah, like
That the world does not want him to be happy. That's the core of his belief.
well, no, that the world, that power doesn't want consciousness to persist.
Oh, okay, power
It's
so much.
closer.
Yeah, it's belief. And it's why he's depressed all the time.
And that like power will win.
Yes.
That power.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense of his limitations. Where is Sarah, do you think Sarah Constance is fully trustable? And where are her limitations?
Sarah Constantine definitely just starts fucking with people when she like feels insecure or feels like that her need to fuck with people
Okay.
hasn't been satisfied adequately.
Wait, Sarah Constance is a troll?
Yeah, but like a very subtle, like intelligent one in most
Okay.
moods, not always.
Okay.
But like when Sarah isn't trolling, she's the best current contemporary author, I think. Like,
Well, yeah, you said the truth is halfway between Michelle Brown and Sarah Constantine.
Yeah, so like Michelle is like
How could you leave us so soon? I only just met you guys.
able to see all of the major things that are going on.
Okay.
But like
but her physics background helps with that, basically.
What?
Her physics background helps with that.
It is, but that's not the main thing.
Okay.
Trading is closer to central.
Trading?
Trading, like
Trading.
equities trading.
Oh, holy shit, like, which equities?
Yeah.
The
like,
rare metals? Or
I mean, she works with Victor Niederhofer.
for what?
Victor Niederhofer back in the day. I think
Okay,
that's probably
cool.
more central.
Okay, cool.
Wait, it's not everywhere to you.
So,
From the US to that.
I think that Michelle expects that
The US has a
reason will
US, I
definitely
guess, can allow you.
win.
Okay,
Unlike
okay.
Yosha,
Okay,
but
reason will
expects
win.
the
Uh-huh.
more secretive and uncooperative and elitist forms of reason.
Okay,
To
okay.
beat the less secretive, more cooperative, and less elitist forms.
Yes, that's why corporations win over open wiki wikis.
And she kind of,
And she's also not very open herself, so that's the
Yeah.
so then which makes it harder for most people to cooperate with her, or actually try to.
yeah, I would tend to say that she expects like the WikiLeaks style people,
Uh-huh.
or like the secretive plays of like European aristocrats,
Okay, okay.
or like
Okay.
her sense and Samo's sense. You know Samo?
Samo
Yeah.
Persia. Is he
Yeah.
trustable?
I think so, yes.
But I think what is he missing? He's
I'm
missing
saying
some-
Michelle and Samo have roughly the same intuition about what sorts of power players
Okay.
have real power and
Okay.
are likely to win in conflicts.
Okay.
But they both assume that only the ones who are still actually reasoning
Okay.
can win. They
Okay.
don't they have they have awareness of nihilism without being nihilistic themselves,
Yeah,
and awareness of the psychological destructions associated with sexual inhibition without being sexually inhibited themselves.
Okay. Okay.
And these are like really major classes of capacity.
Okay. That makes sense.
But they,
It's like how understanding incels is important as part of understanding the world.
yeah, but they really don't have a good understanding of
From a safe, nice, there's Jersey over there distance. Yes.
how do I put it? So Samo Samo underestimates the power of small-ish, ultra-high trust, intellectually selective tribes
Okay.
over compared to great man individualists.
Oh, okay. He underestimates the small tribes.
Yeah, I think Michelle does too. I think they both underestimate the small tribes.
I think my group of people might be that group of tribes, not small group of
How
tribes.
far in advance is it?
Yeah, I think that also, I think they underestimate small tribes, they underestimate a certain type of naivety.
Of what?
Naivety.
Okay. By the way, you have to visit the Bay Area this summer.
Maybe, probably not. but maybe.
I visit at least once because I think I know you're skeptical of my belief in Jeremy and Sonia, but they are forming some similarities with me. I think you.
Possibly, we can negotiate.
Okay.
But
Green spawn.
so what's going on? Okay, so
Saunas, they have volcanic
Samo
sand.
really understands that culture matters.
Okay.
But Samo is interested in state-level actors to a very high degree.
Okay.
So he's interested in the range of power of culture from Israel
Oh
to
yeah.
Africa.
What do you think of Ron Wyden, by the way?
What?
Ron Wyden,
Ron Wyden?
the senator from Oregon.
Haven't paid attention.
Damn. Okay.
So
So you just lie on
Samo is not tracking the maximally high trust and high intellectual discernment cultures like the people who built quantum physics.
Oh yeah.
He's not tracking the qualitative, the phase shift between the most generative types of culture.
Okay.
He's treating things as if there was more of a normal distribution rather than a long-tailed distribution for the sort of cultures he's interested in.
Or just
What?
Samo treats the normal distribution as more important than the long tails with respect
Oh, that's important. Statistics, because you have to calculus over statistics is actually important because
Yeah.
What does that mean to treat normal distributions as more important?
Because you mean that normies are more important than the actual tails, so the tails eventually become the norm
Oh, okay.
once society change.
I got you.
Yes, just like running
So,
into all sorts of people.
Michelle doesn't make that mistake,
Okay.
but she maybe thinks that the very, very extreme limits of the tails
Okay.
matter more than the maximum of trust within the trust within the pretty extreme limits of the tails. So like the
Oh, because the most extreme doesn't have high trust with like plus 60 SD and plus 3 SD might not have much trust with each other, even though the most relevant integrated part of the trust tail is maybe the tail of plus 3.
So
plus
think
4
of the
SD.
Bloomsbury group and think of the people who created quantum physics.
Oh yeah, that's true, because quantum physics is like probably plus 5 SD, and then that has trust, and that's it's a small tail, but it's still a relevant tail no matter.
The Bloomsbury group is like similarly smart,
Okay.
but not as high trust.
Okay.
And it like acquires an enormous amount of power,
Okay.
but it doesn't acquire a lot of ability to cause particular good things to happen.
Okay.
You know, like the Cambridge Apostles are like really smart, and the Bloomsburys are unreal smart, but they're like smart in the aestheticized aristocratic way.
Yeah.
That
I
like
need to learn to share their elite values.
do I sound impossibly pretentious? I'm sorry.
Okay, I think my problem right now is I need motivation sources, and
Do it now.
Okay, here's the thing. I send a different things to everyone, and the problem is it always is biased towards people with manic energy and people who like.
Alex, relax.
Yeah.
Get it done.
No,
I have no motivation without manic energy. That's the problem. So everything that I send like 50% to Sonia. I send like Sonia gets like 50% of my inputs. Lada gets like 30%. Will Jack gets like 40%. It's like right now everything. Right now, but it's still like so distributed and just like so dispersed. And it's not a coherent whole because I just send to everyone. Now, I wish I could make it up a coherent whole, except I don't have the motivation for it.
Wait, what was that last sentence?
Coherent whole, like send up coherent whole.
So I have the sense that like Alex's like sexual orientation is like being a movie about a heroic or idealized Kevin Kelly. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like when I hear
photos, but more videos and
but
photos.
like, you know
the same
Kevin
thing,
Kelly,
the
the
same
thing,
thing. Yeah.
like that, the like
Cool
Kevin
tools
Kelly's
and all that
little
jazz.
images.
Yeah. Accidentally starts like, oh, quantified self, whatever. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Anyways.
Like what you're talking about here with the needing dramatic energy to move you in a certain way.
Yeah, I do need it.
Yeah.
And the people I'm attracted to are attracted to the dramatic energy, which may come at the cost of trustworthiness in some respects.
Yeah.
Stop
Or long-term
yourself
coordination games,
by
too.
Introducing more drama than is awesome into your life.
That's procedurally difficult for someone who only knows how to act through the mediated through the dramatic register.
Maybe the dramatic register. Holy shit! That was even
That's
powerful.
one term you continue to use specifically.
Well, he doesn't. No, it's just an energy. Wow, you. But wait, this was fucking deep. Anyways. God damn it. Also, the people I'm cooperating with are also just like not the right people. But the problem is the people who are the right people to coordinate are people who lack manic energy, and they're just so they just don't get activated when you talk to them. And so then you end up sending everything to Will or Sonia rather than to them. So that's an issue.
Yeah, so it's like actually a huge problem that like depressive realism is accurate.
That's the thing you can fight against.
No, Will has depressive realism too, you know.
Big sad times, homies. You gotta fight the power. You gotta fight against the dying of the light. The abyss will come after you if you stare at it for too long, homie.
So I feel like the needing dramatic energy to stay awake thing, I guess a natural thing is you could just choose someone to be against and have like a kayfabe with someone who annoys you. I mean like...
You gotta choose your fellow guy. No, what's the thing in the WWE?
Choose your friends and your enemies, you know, that's the thing.
I don't know. I was like,
pick some
that's
worthy
so
enemies
hard.
and go ahead and fucking duke it out, man.
I don't know about that.
But like,
I mean, who pisses you off?
Yeah,
That's it.
really
What would 4chan do?
Yeah. Oh my god. Please God, no.
4chan is relating for a while. I don't think 4chan is relevant for a while. There are other people who actually do hate me, and I'm not allowed to disclose who they are for now. And I think it's better for just like them not to have more attention. But anyways.
If no one vigorously disagrees with what you're trying to do and stuff, are you doing anything in the show? Come on now.
Well, people say I'm an attention whore, but yeah.
I don't know why people be mad at
People who vigorously disagree isn't going to be actually the thing. The actual thing is
People hate you,
Sneer.
people who
want to destroy you.
Oh my gosh.
Sneer in particular.
Sneer?
Yeah,
Sneer Club?
for instance.
Sneer Club, even Sneer Club, it does not destroy people.
Wait, they're
is
not
there a
gonna
fake
destroy.
version of? Are there fake versions?
I actually
of the
posted on
word?
Sneer Club, by the way, and it was very mild, and nothing happened out of it.
Are there fake versions of you? That's a great question.
Why don't you just stream your life 24/7 and
That's what-
generate deep fakes of yourself to flood to have that possible then?
Oh yeah, that's very true. I will have experience with that shit, by the way.
That's unfortunate.
That's not unfortunate. No. Oh, also Will is like, he has this weird thing where he's trying to decide what to do next. Like, he seems to be reinforcement learning for trading and to make money, but I'm not sure if that's the best option. And he's changed his plans for like 4 to 5 times.
Wait, okay, I would say that there are somewhat sellout versions of Alex, but the somewhat sellout versions are like hot women, like
Sonia?
Riva Melissa Tells.
Riva. Oh, Riva is a sellout version of me. That's so fascinating.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
You know, Sonia and Will both have the same opinion of Riva, so that's important.
You see that though? That there's a
I
sense
don't know
of
who, wait,
Yeah.
Who? Wait, who?
I don't know.
No, Riva deleted her Twitter. Do you know why she deleted her Twitter?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay.
Like Turkish international socialite, like Jeff Anders, sometimes like flingy thing, tended to like crash parties with people like Elon Musk. and,
Wait,
like,
is that what Riva did?
Riva?
Yeah.
Yeah, she crashed the AI
Oh
OpenAI
my
launch
God.
in Puerto
Holy
Rico.
No!
Holy shit.
She did like the Rocket AI launch, which is this fake AI
Okay.
company joke.
Oh
that
my
she
God.
made fun of
Holy
the
shit.
VCs
What did your
there.
assessment of Luke Sabor?
What's my opinion of Luke Sabor? I mean,
It's so nice.
not that interesting, you
Why?
know?
What is the point? Wait, come on. Who else is doing what? Whatever. Fuck it. How are you gonna build a universe? I mean,
Yeah, I want to build the universe.
how
That's
are
the
you going to
issue.
do? Like, that's all right.
Oh, but no,
Other people,
the-
cool stories, but
No, the thing is this: Sonia and Jeremy are telling me to do this shit, but I have a lot of inhibitions. Sonia is telling me that all of my tokenisms can be used to train the next generation, and everything I can, there'll be a hermeneutic for AKT-isms that can be used to train the next generation. This is what Sonia has like actually really said.
no.
I do plan to go to San Francisco, but it will still be like not until late April.
I mean, I don't think people are gonna be there before late April, right?
Sure. It's
The group houses are there, but they don't allow people in, so whatever. It's not worth it to go until like late April.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, it seems like you are specifically positively motivated by something kind of like buzz.
It is kind of buzz, but it's precise buzz. It's also buzz that has more defensible priors than most other kinds of buzz.
It's modernist buzz.
Yeah. And it could work. It could work, even if it doesn't work from intended. It can have all the carryover effects, even if the initial interpretation is wrong.
It's narrative of global and long-term relevance.
Yes.
The
yes.
most aligned person I know on this is Sarah Constantine.
But she has no energy. That's the issue.
Wait, there's also Terry Hinton. There's
Terry
a
Hinton.
natural spectrum from Terry Hinton to Sarah Constantine.
Is
that-
Terry Hinton too old for this stuff now?
I don't really know Terry Hinton. I have heard of Sarah Constantine.
I think her age changes depending on how relevant she can be.
Yes, that seems
Okay,
true.
okay. That's a fascinating way to put it.
She ages when she's not relevant.
Okay, then I need to talk to her more if I can excite me and her. Yes.
I said most aligned, not most similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The problem is you can't make Sarah Constantine have more energy than she has now, and that's a major limiting factor.
Wait, I don't
I'm
really think
working
that's
on
true.
it as fast as I know how.
Yeah, I don't really think it's true.
But the problem with Sarah is that how can you collaborate with her more? Because she is really hard to coordinate with.
You can,
So
also,
my
you
model-
can also give her permission to do something like take modafinil.
She takes Adderall.
Sure.
It's got caffeine, level up to like new phenylphrase.
So my model is that if we actually have Lex stably in town,
Lex Gentle.
yeah, I think that will contribute to the most natural path for Sarah being like
Relevant.
more okay and more relevant.
More okay, but she's still sad like half the time.
Yeah, like with Lex is also sad a lot of the time, but
Oh god damn it.
Lex is like somewhat more generally like sane in her life outcome. Like
What has
look
Lex
at-
even been doing
outlook-
lately?
Lex?
Yeah.
Normal tech company work.
Oh, no, tell me.
But like she's thinking of moving like 2 days from now, or at
Okay,
least
okay.
visiting 2
Okay,
days from now,
okay.
but like in an open-ended way.
Okay.
So I think that if Lex gets into town, the prospects, the recovery curve for Sasha gets better,
Okay.
and the recovery curve for Sarah gets better,
Okay.
and the relevance curve for Eli Morningstar gets better.
Okay. We should bring. Also, I really suggest we bring Will Jack in too, because I think we can. He's extreme on extreme openness, like extreme on the openness dimension. There's no one that higher than him.
So my guess is that if we get Eli Morningstar reasonably how do I put it exactly? There's ways in which she's like melancholy. Okay, Jonathan Lee and Jessica have a lot of problem in common.
Jessica Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay, Jonathan Lee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Insofar as we can get like basically a slight change to Jonathan Lee's like operating parameters, I think that then would be the time to bring in Will Jack. Like in a New York with a fully online Jonathan Lee can easily absorb a Will Jack in a more useful way than a New York without a fully online Jonathan Lee. And we have a reasonably clear path to a Jonathan Lee, so we should get that completed. If we have a good timetable, we could do that by June. More likely it's going to take till August because we'll fuck around for a month or two doing other things because that's life. But like, I think that like, basically, once Jonathan is relatively re-engaged, we can boot up Matthew up to a level that naturally pulls
Which Matthew?
in
Gentle?
Putman,
Putman.
in a way that pulls in Will Jack and
No, Will Jack and Nanotronic would be fucking awesome.
Right, I'm saying once we booted up Jonathan Lee, we open up Matthew enough to bring in Will Jack and Serene. Then we actually have, with Will Jack, Serene, Jonathan Lee, Jack Gallagher, Jessica Taylor gradually booting up, maybe a somewhat rehabilitated Bryce coming online. We have like a technological capacity that's like actually must level.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I see. I was about that. But okay. Yeah.
And you, if we have something like early central developments in quantum computing to throw in too, we can bootstrap from that to like a proper modernism that like the Chinese don't know about, but all of the people who are in America and like are looking away from China can like see as the natural center of America, even while the Americans as a whole don't know about them. So like think about the way in which most Americans are like just totally unaware of, like say McKinsey.
Right.
But McKinsey is like the natural power center shelling point for this very large umbrella of Americans who are themselves the natural power center for America as a whole. Likewise, I feel like most Americans...
Like Americans know about the Ivy League and the Ivy League knows about McKinsey.
Yeah. Most Americans don't know about like Matthew Putman But there's enough of American tech and industry that knows about and politics that knows about Matthew Putman, that insofar as Matthew Putman is engaged properly and knows about the sort of cluster that we can build with Jonathan Lee fully online, then we have America's industrial base.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
How can I help?
we do the bank. That's helping.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think you have the coordination problem.
Yeah.
I think there are people in New York City. There are a lot of businesses and unattached people who would be very useful for this coordination problem.
So I think that the thing is you're oriented towards trying to solve the types of coordination problems that can be solved partially with dramatic energy.
Yeah.
And I tend to think that those sorts of coordination problems are intrinsically very limited.
I don't think they're totally limited, no.
I didn't say totally, I said terribly. I think that they have like some ability to pull in like
dudes or people who work for 2 years and then leave. People who work for 2 years and then leave, basically, but who have no long-term focus.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But like they don't have the ability to build a long-lasting institution or a very complex integrated piece of technology.
Like Remedy.
Yeah, they they might be good enough if combined with really edgy and dangerous biohacking, they might be good enough to do really cool biohacking projects. And it's possible that your global comparative advantage with your current skill set is just not that intersecting with my global comparative advantage. You should be working adjacent to Church and Langdon in a biohacking space using your skill set.
Kepner did some of that, but something didn't quite work out.
I'm doing the engineering for the biohacking space. My homie's got a warehouse basically.
But the thing is, I don't have high levels of patience, so that's an issue.
But I'm saying biohacking is faster than complex physical technologies.
Okay.
So my opinion, there are like a half dozen really high leverage biohacking things that like someone needs to do. No one's currently doing. Brian Bishop is doing one of them, so that's cool. Brian Bishop's great. Have you been working with him?
Bishop?
Sorry, but is it Brian Bishop, Brian McCabe? But Brian Bishop, he's a biohacker.
Brian Bishop, biohacker?
I think so.
Okay.
There's a
What do you think of
Brian
Joseph
Bishop
Nader?
What?
What do you think of the Jose Vayner?
Nate Vayner? I don't remember.
Jose Vayner.
I don't think I know him.
Okay.
Yeah, Brian Bishop. Bryan. Okay, anyway. So. Okay.
Very good music taste.
Right. Straight up, outstanding music.
Alright. So, like, I think that the very highest leverage biohacking projects are match your time scale, but they require, like, a lot of combined, like, global agency and, like, basically, they're related to trauma or sculpting social dynamics.
Trauma for sculpting social dynamics.
I'm saying, like, either AI for sculpting social dynamics in various ways, or, like, biohacking solutions for trauma seem like really actually in the exact center of your comparative advantage potential.
What about MDMA? But MDMA is not effective enough.
I don't know.
So,
MDMA allows you to do structural work, but then you're limited by your level of skill in like processing and reinterpreting stuff.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's kind of like how the person who you mentioned has limited ability to feel things, even though he does have like a good medical level understanding of things. It's compromised with his ability to feel what's relevant.
But he like uses tools, and because he uses tools, he can like solve structural problems that like don't require him to like be great at negotiating. Like this is the guy you saw. Right, like he has some amount of like sophistication and sensitivity.
Who?
Valentine.
Yeah.
But like, he's using tools as a force multiplier, and like the hope is that like he's able to like do things that seem to me to like be just fixing effects of trauma,
Okay.
just through physiological interventions.
He actually fixes trauma through that.
I think probably not all trauma,
Okay.
but like definitely like it created a lot of like emotional openness for me.
Okay, wow.
Where I was like stuck before.
Okay.
And then like there's things you could do. There's things you could like investigate in terms of directly altering like brain function through stuff like TMI.
Oh yeah.
TMS.
TMS. Yeah. If there's an easy way to get TMS.
Transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But someone has to get a TMS machine.
Yeah. Yep. Biohacking sometimes requires machines.
Like how they get
So like in particular, there's some experimentation to be done there on like amygdala activation, but also like lateralized amygdala activation.
With a basolateral amygdala versus the.
Like I think left versus my guess
Okay.
is that left versus right amygdala do different things.
Okay.
With respect to trauma.
Okay.
In a way that's like quite important.
Okay.
My current best guess, very speculative, is that actually there were certain kinds of trauma I was not able to take on until I learned to tell my left from my right reliably.
Okay. The left and the right of the amygdala.
Of my body.
Okay, damn
What
it.
does that mean? To tell the left and the right of your
Oh, like you know, like really little kids get confused about which way is left and which way is right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a point at which I stopped getting confused about that, and I'm like quite sure I didn't take those large classes of trauma, like of my childhood trauma, and I'm unsure how much of my trauma is childhood trauma. But I'm like quite sure that like most of it came after and not before that, and I suspect that that's actually related to different ways of processing the world.
Okay.
Where, like there were kinds of asymmetries I could not engage with. Like, the Greek word for bias and the Greek word for violence are the same. Like bias is Greek for violence. Yeah. So like, yeah, I think that CPTSD at least probably has quite a lot to do with asymmetry. But I'm not sure exactly how. And like, you could just do some really good neuroscience on this, but also you could just hack around and see what happens.
Also, you need to talk to Alex Salmore. He's in Toronto. He is very high on the psychoticism scale in a good way. He's also willing to do anything. He has no fear. He literally has like no fear and no shame. And he's a neuroscience, computational neuroscience theorist.
Oh fuck, yeah, I would like to talk with him.
Okay, have you heard of anything about him yet?
Sorry?
Have you heard anything about Alex Sal yet?
No.
And he's trying to raise funds for a VC or something. Yes, yes, he literally, okay, good, you said
I
that.
think I should probably talk to him in conjunction with at least one other person in the department, probably Sasha and
Elin Alstad. She's put in the Princeton Psychedelics Club right
Sorry,
now.
who?
Elin Alstad. Elin. E-L-I-N. Yes. And she is totally unbrainwashed at Princeton. She just has this stream of confidence that makes her totally enabled, totally not absorb any of the toxic energies from the university.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
This seems promising.
Yes.
I'm happy to talk. I don't know a lot of neuroscience. I just have a few plausible ideas from what I've seen. Michael has others.
Yes. Elin can inform you. Alex Sal can inform you. Rochelle might be able to help them.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to be the lead on actually.
Yeah, you won't be the lead, but you can at least generate the energy and coordination, because a lot of the people who I've mentioned also have some issues with trauma or not coordinating well.
Got it.
So there
I
will
see.
need to be a coordinator for sure.
Yes.
And if a coordinator can actually generate the issue. I think the Ivy League Psychedelic Club scene is fascinating, by the way.
It is pretty dope. They go. Dude, they go in. I mean,
They do.
everyone called it. Like, they go. As in, recommended like a 4-volume book on what? A consistent, coherent like theory of reality, like a definition of consciousness that like presupposes most like religious axioms and stuff, or like proves a lot of religious axioms and stuff, right? And then going from that to like, how do I keep the shit that I learned, right? Going from that to like, how the play with this math theorem that I'm trying to prove out.
What do you think of Chelsea Voss, by the way?
I lost the math
I
theorem.
like her a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like
I took the math in
she.
I was told I learned some math, and that's not the case.
I think her valid assumption is one of the best I've ever seen. The main limitation is her lack of energy and
You can
braveness.
reteach yourself.
Or like boldness.
Yeah, she should be bolder.
Yeah.
You can just a lot of it's very simple. Like, this is another one of these things where the Greek words are helpful. That mathematics is Greek for learnable. Because they thought it was so easy.
Great. Yes, excellent. That's good to know. Yeah. I like all those
A lot of the notation is designed to be intimidating.
Do you talk much of Jan Zane and Spark?
Preserve
Jan Zane and Spark.
boundaries.
I don't.
But
Okay.
then you can just
Do you know anyone at Spark?
Not these days.
Okay.
For a long time.
Yeah, okay.
Why is this term
Oh,
here?
it's just she's so good. It's like you're
Yeah.
But
It's
Emma
kinda-
is in a weird place
Okay.
where
Uh,
she is
So,
increasingly self-aware
you just
that
investigate
she's
the math
been
you're curious about.
acting destructively.
Yeah, and she's apologizing for it.
Yeah.
Social network. The
And,
people ask
like,
questions.
I feel like if she's able to recover
My
from
flatmates Jack
the,
and Jessica would be pretty
you know,
happy to answer
what place she's in and try to turn
at least
around
help you
the direction of her
navigate
efforts,
Okay.
things like Spark should be much more mobilizable.
Obi Spark.
I feel.
Oh, this is important. Yeah, one Sparker just randomly friended me today, and she said she admires my braveness. Apparently, I'm kind of infamous at Spark for whatever reason. A lot of people with Spark know me, so they sometimes put my name around.
Good.
Natural pace.
So yeah, sparklers seem like a reasonably natural channel, class of channel for helping push Anna over into a total transition.
Okay,
of
okay,
thing.
okay.
If we have more sparklers that we're talking with, that seems like it would help.
This is great. I can recommend you one name that I just contacted.
Great, cool, thanks.
Let me think what else. Do you know what happened with Anne as a major destructive and what made her change again?
Yeah, very straightforwardly, the Open Philanthropy Project and OpenAI.
Was she corrupted by those forces?
I mean, the whole ecosystem was.
Okay.
It was made very clear that the narrative could we could either comply with the narrative, or the narrative could write us out and define us as cranks and irrelevant.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this wasn't verbalized. These sorts of things aren't done like that. But
Okay.
Anna was very much trying and endorsing, basically complying with these sorts of things
Okay.
4 years ago.
Okay.
And people were backing sort of the sense of we have to not make people cry type intuitions, as opposed to we need to stick with our agendas type positions. And the very few holdouts who maintained a unnatural sort of we're not blocking knowing ourselves, Zach Davis.
Oh, yeah?
Kind of fumed for years and didn't get anywhere.
Wait, Zach Davis was tried to block people from knowing themselves?
I mean,
thought he was...
Zach is very blocked from knowing Zach's self. Zach is very
he's blocked from...
inhibited.
He is inhibited, but he doesn't. I think he doesn't inhibit other people from.
No, but I mean, he tries to not know what's up with Anna.
Okay,
So
okay.
the last people who were trying to act on the assumption that things were going on in good faith, like Zach
Okay,
Davis,
okay.
were miserably beating their heads against the wall for years. But basically, everyone else got with the flow of things. In the new way we're going to be doing things is the basically fake corporate OpenAI adjacent non-productivity dance.
Okay.
And Eliezer and Pritch and a number of other people who care quite a lot and are quite forceful are really confused about what's going on with all of the people around them, and also themselves still comply a lot, but are still kind of thinking that it seems to them everyone else is just trying to destroy the world, but they're trying to save it still.
Mm-hmm.
But most people are more thinking no one ever knows anything, consciousness isn't real and doesn't do anything, things are always, the normal is always the real.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I don't know how to play it on the record.
Yeah, I'm sure I've done it before, you could do it again.
I I've never done it before. So,
What do you mean with?
how to play
Okay.
vinyl record.
Oh yeah.
This is first.
This is him.
What's that?
Yeah, this one.
Right side.
There'll be a control for raising the lever. Oh, once we put on it.
No,
That's for speaker.
There's just like
It's probably a yeah.
oh, that's, oh, you hear it. Yeah, you hear it. It's just quiet.
See this button right? It should.
What else do you think has been on your mind lately regarding the coordination problems that you care about?
So what do I think? I feel like since around a month ago, there's been a lot of like readiness in the air for people to shift from the narrative that they were living in to a counter narrative.
A counter
But they're
narrative.
having difficulty in locating the counter narratives from which to which they are going to try to bail.
Okay, and why is the counter narrative important? Does it
Like,
mean that they're
meaning that
becoming more
people are
flexible?
basically, one way of saying it is when people submit to coercion to enter a narcissistic delusion,
Okay,
they lose touch with reality.
okay,
They need to like relocate reality from their narcissistic delusion.
okay.
Or find a cult leader to follow who will give them a new set of ideologies.
Can I
and
be the cult leader?
solutions. I don't think that's a good idea.
Sonia.
Fine.
No, cult leaders aren't productive ways of organizing people.
Okay.
So like, sometimes it's useful to productively convert people into like democratic legitimacy and simple mechanical actions if you can like organize at an OSHA level. But it's not like a thing to do with people who want to get more than wild country levels of production.
Okay.
Since it ends with the Taurus,
Like
maybe it is.
sometimes like, remember thinking about it, Alex?
Yeah.
You should never bring people into a cult. You should always bring people out of cults into freedom. But you want to have a cult safety net that they can fall into
Oh yeah.
if they fall out of freedom into like nonsense and confusion and reflexive destructive behavior.
Okay.
When they're no longer able to make it back to their cult of origin, you would like them to like, after hitting rock bottom and like having to be confronted with the ways in which their cult trained reflexes don't work,
Okay.
give them a new thing with a like somewhat cult-like structure that they can use to reorient and climb out.
Okay.
You know, but you never like bring people out of a cult to like a like non-cult if they're like able to like swim in like reality, you know?
Okay.
A leader. Eternal salvation.
Alex, you're gonna start a cult, bro?
What?
You're fearless leader, promise of eternal salvation. Got me. Have two ingredients, huh?
True transformation. I'm just thinking of something.
No, journal salvation should be sold as an NFT these days.
General salvation.
Yes. Be sold for excellence. Oh man. Watch trading with what watch trading? It's fitting. Compared to the